Yes, it's that time. Gobbet 47. Ocean spray. It's not just for cranberries anymore. From November the 1st, 2008. Halloween is a busy day with two kids that live to trick or treat. And we always have a Halloween party with real food before they disappear into a week of sugar-fueled lethargy. And of course, the one day of the year I wanted to be slow. It was busy. And I had 2 consults with infections due to Serratia marcescens. Serratia marcescens is not that unusual as a pathogen, causing hospital-acquired infections of all kind. What is interesting about this bug is it makes a reddish-orange pigment called, and may be pronounced, prodigiosin, Prodigiosin. This is a pigment that looks like blood and makes Serratia easy to identify, much to the distress of San Francisco. In the 1950s, the military wanted to know how biologic warfare agents were spread in an urban environment. In Operation Ocean Spray, that's what they called it, they placed auger plates throughout the San Francisco Bay Area and sprayed Serratia over San Francisco from offshore. Some reports say they released balloons filled with the organism and popped them over the city. Serratia would then be easy to track through the city since all they had to do was look for red-orange bacteria growing on the drop plates. The military thought Serratia was not a pathogen, and they were wrong. Shortly thereafter, there was an increase in Serratia infections in the Bay Area, 11 patients having pneumonia with 1 death from endocarditis. One report suggests that people were breathing 5,000 bacteria or more for hours after the spraying, and that the spraying covered about 117 square miles. So when the wackaloons say that the condensation trails, contrails, from airplanes are not water, but are really the government spraying us with bacteria and nanobots, it's really hard to counter with the assertion that the government would never do anything so stupid. So fast forward a decade. There's the increase in the drug culture. San Francisco becomes the home of Serratia endocarditis and IV drug users, presumably as it was in the water of the Bay Area, secondary to the 1950s military spreading. Now, I have heard, but cannot confirm with any papers, that the strains that caused endocarditis were not the same strains that was sprayed over San Francisco. But then, isn't that what the men in black would want you to think? Also, there's this classic paper in the New England Journal of Medicine from 1976 by Dr. Yu, Y.U., called Serratia marcescens, Historical Perspectives in Clinical Review. It's worth your while to dig it up because he talks about how it might be that, for example, when paintings in the Middle Ages cried tears, perhaps it was Serratia that was growing in the oils. And there's a form of red pigment that can destroy wheat crops, and maybe that was due to Serratia marcescens. So he goes through all these red pigments that have appeared through history and suggests that perhaps it was due to Serratia marcescens. The relevant articles for this particular Gobbet were Serratia marcescens, Historical Perspective and Clinical Review, 1979, New England Journal of Medicine, Volume 300, page 887. The Annals of Internal Medicine, 1976, Serratia marcescens endocarditis, a regional illness associated with increased drug abuse. And then, if you do a Google search using Serratia, San Francisco, endocarditis, and military, you will get the whole sordid detail. And that ends this Gobbet Opus.